So what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of None But Ourselves. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Sensei Saf, artist, entrepreneur, mogul
Hey,
in the making. So tell them what you got going on, bro. Tell them where they can find you at.
hey, appreciate that. Listen, the pleasure is all mine, first and foremost. But I'm everywhere, man. I'm on all streaming services, bro. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. Right now, I took a whole bunch of songs off of SoundCloud, but I still got I want to say like 4 or 5 songs up on SoundCloud. But yeah, I'm everywhere, man, on all streaming platforms. All my songs might not be on all streaming platforms, but I am,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And yeah, I'm also audio engineer. So, we were talking about that a little bit before. Definitely working on my music, but I'm trying to do music for others, work on their music as
Right,
well.
right. What would you say how do you find the balance between those two things? How do you find the balance between being an artist and being somebody that's the forefront versus being an engineer and being like the supporting cast, being behind the scenes and making other people shine?
Mm, I like it. I like it. So much. I listened to So Much Fun by Young Thug.
Mm,
That's probably like best album in 2019. One of them, my favorite. It's one of my, or yeah, 19. I say that's definitely one of my favorites. But
yeah.
the guy that his audio engineer or his mixing engineer, you can really hear a difference in his mixes, like how he mixes stuff. It's so I don't really know how to explain it, but like just
Right.
certain things that he does, like his hi-hats sound so crisp. uh the way Young Thug is able to flow on
Hmm.
songs, it's like that's because of the mixing engineer.
Right.
um and I just I fell in love with mixing at that point. I was like, bro, this album is so fucking fire. Like it's
Yeah.
just like uh I don't wanna sound like this, but I want my production like this level. Um
And I think Young Thug is one of those artists too that if you like, you could listen to one Young Thug song and listen to another Thug song, and you can tell there was a different engineer, and this shit sounds
yep,
completely
yep,
different. He has one of those like unique voices where it's like it has to be engineered right, or it
yep.
sounds like a whole completely different person.
That's it. That's super facts. That's super facts. That's like you're right, because it was a Thug song that I heard. I want to say recently, and I was like, bro, Toomey didn't. Alex Toomey didn't touch this. This wasn't an
Right.
Alex Toomey.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. That's when I really started to notice like my ear was changing, and it was changing for like the mixing and the mastering, and I like that shit. I like that.
Yeah.
It's to answer your question though. Um, I prefer kind of being the audio engineer now, and opposed to
Mm.
the rapping. Like the rapping, I love that shit so much. East Coast nigga by heart, or excuse me, East Coast artist
You all right, bro? You
by
can say
nature.
nigga. This is
Oh, all
listen.
right, cool,
It's the
cool,
culture, bro. We
cool.
here
You
for the
know what I'm
culture.
saying? Listen, I know certain podcasts I've done. I'm a very vulgar person,
Nah,
but
my G, we unfiltered because this is the thing. Sometimes I have priests on here, you know what I'm
okay,
saying? Sometimes I
okay,
have just listen, street niggas on here. We out here, bro. We
okay.
gotta do what
Bet.
we
Say
gotta
less.
do.
Say less. Yeah, I dig
Yeah.
that. I dig that. We out here, yeah. But yeah, man. The craft of the difference between mixing and mastering and being an artist for me is that when I'm rapping, I know I get writer's block, and my writer's
Mm.
block can last anywhere from like a day to like 2 weeks, and then I'm just like, bro, I haven't been in the booth in 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck? So
Right.
then I just go mixing and mastering, make
Yeah.
me feel better.
Yeah, Nick, and I think that as an artist, I feel like I felt that because in a personal place, I've been there where it's like writer's block. I feel like right now I'm in a
Yes.
place where it's like mad writer's block. I could hear a beat and be like, man, this shit is fire. I'm so inspired by this, and have the melody lines, but the words to put to it, I feel like sometimes it's really like a God vibration because like the songs that I've written that have been like successful, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they just dropped on me. You know what I mean? That feeling of like it, like you was in an inspired place, and it was like whatever
Mm.
divine spirit just came in and just dropped that shit on you.
Yeah, I do get sometimes in the booth where, and I'm sure you get this, but like when you're a rapper, you be like, or an artist, and you hear some shit that you did that was fire. You like, yeah, I'm the fucking best, bro.
Yeah,
I'm the
real
fucking
shit.
best
Like nobody fucking with me because it's that
at
divine
all.
consciousness. I remember hearing a song. I heard this interview. Like this was like early 90s Michael Jackson with Oprah, and she was like, yo, how do you write your songs? And he was telling her like Billie Jean, he was just like he said I was
That's
in the
tough.
back. He said I was in
That's
the back of a car and God just dropped that shit on me. Like he literally just opened up, boom, just dropped it on me. I think
yeah,
we like, especially as black people, we have such a history of um spirituality and music. You know what I mean? A lot of
mm-hmm.
people that I have on this podcast is like, different African speakers and like connecting to our heritage and like
Okay,
things that we lost, things that we might still have. But I think we forget that like it's a divinity in the music that we make. You know what I
facts,
mean?
facts.
That's a part of our culture more than it is even a part of other cultures, because there's such a spirituality attached to our music. And it
Mm,
has like, when you're attaching messages to rhythm, when you're attaching messages to instrumentation, like it has the ability to just pierce through people. So we really like, as
that's a fact.
musicians, we're spiritual workers. We're not just, you know, rappers, artists standing up. We spiritual workers. So it's like I hate when the media tries to cheapen it. Like, oh, he a rapper.
Yeah,
Like, nah,
yeah,
we spiritual
yeah.
workers.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Being called a rapper, like I don't mind being called a rapper because, like you said, it's the culture. But you right, like when the media addresses a rapper, I feel like you should call them a musician, bro,
Right. All the way.
because you're not calling Elvis Presley a rock and roller.
Right.
You're not
Right.
calling certain guy. You're not calling Daft Punk, rock and rollers. I
Right.
just haven't heard that, I haven't heard that term since
Right.
fucking wrestling
Right. It's something that only gets applied to one specific group of people.
genre.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So, but so I see you married, you got a daughter
Yes, sir. I got a daughter and a son.
and a
I
son.
got my,
Okay.
I got my favorite daughter and my favorite son.
Oh, that's what's
So,
up, man. Yeah, I was looking through your page and I saw that. How do you feel like being a family man influences your music, influences that inspiration?
um, some songs I write about, like, and it's really about, my family life. Like, I got a dad bod freestyle up there on
Mm,
SoundCloud and YouTube. Um, And if you ever heard the Logic song Dad Bod, it's same beat obviously, but just the lyrics are different. But I heard it when I heard the song by Logic, and he was just talking about his life as a parent, and I was like, bro, your son's like 4 months old, and don't get me wrong, like you're still a dad for sure, but I was like, man, he not even halfway in it like how I'm in it, bro.
right,
As
right,
far as becoming a parent goes, and this man living off of millions, he's good.
right,
Their child is good. Like shit, I'm still trying to pay my bills right now. I'm
right,
still trying, um, as with two kids and a wife. But nah, my wife, she's amazing, man. She really holds shit down. Um, and as far as inspiring my music, she allows me to be myself. Like she hears certain songs by me, and they're vulgar. It may talk about uh, fucking other women, this, that, and
right.
the third. She doesn't take heart to that, and that's what I
Yeah,
appreciate. That's what like,
yeah. You definitely need that because you
yes,
can't
because she could be
stifle
like,
the art. You know what I mean?
right,
I my
right,
my girlfriend will tell me sometimes when I make songs like, "Yo, you need to get fouler with that shit. Like, you need to go
oh
deeper
wow,
into." You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
wow, yeah, that's tough.
yeah,
That's tough. Yeah, so my girl definitely would tell me like she definitely is very supportive, and I definitely appreciate that because without her, like
yeah. That's
I
a
don't know,
blessing.
I'll be half where I don't know where I would be in, as far as music goes without her. And she has a very she's very musically inclined herself. Her family, she's a very good singer. She just doesn't,
Yeah.
but I don't know how much they inspire my music because it's like, that's my why. That's, I
Right.
go for them. I go for them. That's how I can say. But as far as putting them in songs and stuff like that, it's not too many songs where, my family is involved, only because like I'm I'm an East Coast guy. I'm gonna keep saying that all interview.
Right.
Like,
Right.
my favorite rapper is Big L. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the culture of rap has always been about being braggadocious and putting
Right.
words together. And that's how I feel like I carry myself when I rap.
Right.
Like, in a
Right.
very not that I'm the best, but like I'm the best. Like, I do this
Yeah,
shit. Like,
you gotta, right. Yeah, you gotta have a confidence. Because in
right,
this world, if you don't have a confidence about yourself, you're just going to get rolled over anyway,
exactly,
regardless of what
exactly.
people say. How do you think do you think that in the end, though, that's a positive thing for our community um, to feel like, you know, we get put on for being like that, like braggadocious vibe, or I got bitches, I'm out here getting money, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
How you feel like in the long term? Because I get into that too. I feel like as soon as it's like a toss up, because I might be on my podcast doing some conscious shit, talking about Marcus Garvey, talking about, Pan Africanism, talking about
What's
how
wrong
we
with that
gonna,
though?
you know what I mean? And then and then get on a track and be like, I'm with the shits too. You know what I mean? Like, how do
You,
you find that balance between being in reality, but also wanting to give people a positive image at the same time?
bro, you can be pro black and still, talk your shit. It's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like, I grew up on Black history. Like, Black history is being Black. Like, I love that shit, bro. Like,
yeah,
I love the Black culture. I just love it how everyone just takes from our culture and then just, puts it in their own, and then just try to write it off as if it was never ours.
right,
um but to maintain that balance, bro, it's just being real with yourself. Like, you can do that. Like, uh you not if you not rapping about, I'm not one of those people that rap about selling drugs. I never sold drugs before, so I'm not gonna
mm,
rap about it. But, I've gotten into fights. I've gotten into, I've been in places to where, shit could have got iffy.
right,
Shit has got, you know what I'm saying? So, like, being in those predicaments, being in those situations to where my my gangster, in a sense, was tested, or, not, um people like to test you, and you got to let them know, and you can still be
right,
yourself about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Malcolm X was the biggest person ever, as far as uh demanding equality for Black people, but doing it by any means necessary.
right,
uh and people don't like the any means necessary part,
yeah. They
and
was
that's
cool. They wanted that non-violent, that passive shit. Malcolm X
that's
was like,
because
listen, if you, he said, don't start problems with nobody, but if somebody put their hands on you, send them to the cemetery. Like, listen, you don't fuck with me, we all right. But if you come fucking with me, we gonna take it to the furthest extent.
exactly,
And I think
exactly,
that, like you said, it's just about being truthful to who you are, because you can't put anybody in a box. You can't put
right,
anybody in a category. People have multifaceted shit. And I think it's just about that authenticity. Like, just because it's cool to be, fucking Jeezy, biggest trapper, snowman shit.
right.
Like, just because it's cool to do that, if that wasn't you, don't talk about that. And I feel
Right,
like in the culture right now, a lot of people, they get on and they get a little spotlight, but then later on it's like you can't have any longevity because you was just playing a character the whole time. It was never
right.
you.
That,
You
but
was
see,
just
that's you so right, bro. You so right. You spitting right now. It's like, it's a lot of niggas in the rap game that's not like who they portray themselves to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like 6ix9ine is one nigga out of like a bunch of niggas that, given that same predicament,
Right.
they doing the same exact thing. And
Right.
I'm not one of those people to say whether what he did was right or wrong. What I'm here to say is that it's like, if I wouldn't be in that position. Like a
Right.
lot of people, when that shit first happened, asked me like, well, if you were in that position, what would you do?
I wouldn't
Trying
be
to
in that
defend
position.
him.
If I was in that position,
Exactly.
I'd sit and I'd take my fucking time, because 6ix9ine sat here and was out here trying to act like he was the biggest blood. He was
Right.
really with the shits,
Right.
knowing goddamn well that he wasn't with that shit.
Right.
So I wouldn't be in
Right.
that position anyway, because you wouldn't catch me standing on fucking O Block talking about, fuck OTF and all this. Like, you wouldn't catch me
Right.
doing that shit and then trying to, put out hits on people and all this shit. This man was living a lifestyle. Not only was he a culture vulture, he was living a lifestyle that wasn't him.
Right.
Anybody
That's
could
the
have
thing.
told you that shit. Anybody from any city, anywhere in America, anywhere in the world for that matter, who's really been involved in street life will tell you, bro, it's no shame in just being like, that's not me. I'm not with that shit. I
Right.
got family that's still in the streets. They know I'm not with that shit. I have a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? I do a
Right.
podcast. I rap. I try and be positive.
Right.
So they know, just don't come around me with that shit. I'm going to talk about my life. I'm going to talk about the way I grew up in my music, but you would never hear me, yeah, we breaking bricks down. I'm in the kitchen,
Yo,
nigga. I'm
right.
whooping it. You would never hear me
Right.
do that
Like
shit.
you never gonna hear like a Jada Kiss like bar from me in the
Right.
sense of selling, you know, any illegal drug. That was not me, bro. Like,
Right.
yes, I smoke, I blow down. That's me, but I don't
Yeah.
sell. I don't sell or not. I don't do none of that, bro.
Right.
The
And I
illegal
think
activity just not. It's just not for me, and I don't need to rap about it. Like, it's so much. It's so much other shit that goes on in my life for me to rap about and talk about. It's no
right.
need for me to talk about doing something I don't do.
Right. And that's where the longevity comes from too, because it's like, if you're just being yourself, you always have material. Because as long as you a human being
Right.
living on this planet, you always have material because you being yourself. But once you put up a facade, now I got to keep that facade going. Now I got to go deeper and deeper and deeper and try and keep proving to people that I'm this person that I'm not. And I think we see people get exposed all the time from that shit.
Yeah, being yourself. Facts. Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I think
Beautiful.
that's just the main thing with artistry. If you stay true to yourself, it's always going to be, and I think people can see through it too. You can tell when somebody's
Yeah.
phony, especially in the culture. You can tell when somebody's doing some weird stuff.
Yeah, bro.
So they've been on
Yeah.
Meek up here heavy in Philly because he just keep doing weird shit.
Bro, yeah, I heard they was giving him flack for giving kids like $20 or some shit.
Yeah, because
Bro.
he was in Atlanta, and they said,
Oh, that happened in
some
Atlanta.
yeah, it was in Atlanta, but some kids at the gas station, like I'm just a regular working 9 to 5, but if it's some kids at the gas station selling waters, asking to pump gas, if I have $5, I'm gonna throw them $5. You know what I mean? I'm a try and show love. These kids, they out here doing
Right.
something positive. They trying to become entrepreneurs. They starting at the bottom. I'm gonna throw them a couple dollars. Meek pull up in a fucking Bugatti, Bentley, or whatever, and try and hand 15 kids $20 talking about split it. And the kid was like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, you put up in a fucking Bentley to tell me
He
split
said
this shit's
split it.
dumb?"
Oh
Like,
shit.
like I
Yo.
understand people got to get it how they live, but it's like, it's that vibe
Yeah.
of like, everything that I own, I have to have it on me. That's something that I'm
Facts.
trying to, like, we got to break that shit in the Black community. We don't have to
Facts.
have all of our money showing out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We got to build like
Right.
stability and security behind the scenes, because you see somebody who's really getting money. You see a Jeff Bezos, you see a Bill Gates. If you didn't know him, you could walk by
Yeah.
him on the street and not fucking know they was worth billions. You know what
Okay.
I mean? So,
Okay. Cole said it best, bro. He said, when you really got it, you're not pressed to talk about it. You
mm,
know,
mm.
that's the realest shit I've heard. Like, it's all the niggas that's loud about talking money really ain't got no money.
Real talk. Real
Those
talk.
people that got money, they not talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who I was talking to, but they said I think I might have been talking to my pops, but he said, why do you think Ferrari never had a commercial or doesn't do commercials? Because
Mm,
that's not their audience that they're appeasing to. Their
mm.
audience doesn't watch
They
TV.
don't watch
And I was like,
TV.
right. I was
Damn.
like, damn,
Damn.
like
That's some real talk.
that's money. Like, you know
That's
what I'm
what
saying?
right.
Like
That's that high up
that's
money. Yup.
that's money.
And like you said,
Niggas
they
that
not
don't watch
watching TV. They not consuming that. So
right,
they probably listen.
right.
They already know. They know Ferrari because they know the legacy of it. They know the quality of it.
Right.
You know
They
what I
know
mean?
the richness of it. They know
Right.
the actual specifications and shit of that John. Like
Right.
they don't yeah. They buy that shit fresh off the lot and cash if they want to.
Right. Yeah, that's a bar. That's a bar. So what would you in that same wave, what's some financial game that you would give to the youth coming up? Maybe somebody who's just getting married or just starting a family or just, starting out in life, college kid, coming out of college or high school kid coming out of college. What's some shit that you wish you knew when you were that age that you could impart to the youth?
Well, coming out of high school, it's a lot of shit I wish I knew, man, going into college, but that's a whole nother story. But
Mm.
just you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Like
Mm.
a lot of people really get caught up focusing on what somebody else got and they wish and
Mm.
then they want to go get it. Like that's not what it's about, man.
Yeah.
If if I already got something, why do if I don't know how to explain it, but if I already got like if I just bought a truck 6 months ago and my neighbor goes and buy a new whip tomorrow, I'm not supposed to go out and buy a new car
Right. Just
just to
because I
be like,
saw somebody
oh,
else got it,
just because
I
I
got to
saw it.
try and top
That's
them.
no, man. You don't have to you don't have to do that. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses like that. You don't have to and you know that's more than one way. Like we see people rocking nice shit and we be like, damn, I want that. Then we go and spend a fucking check
Right.
on a shirt, a sweater that you gonna wear like 3, 4 times.
Mm.
And like you can't you like the thing about that is you wearing the shirt 3, 4 times and the nigga gonna know every time you wear because when you wearing expensive shit like that, like it's not like you got a closet full of the same shirt. Like
I never
like
heard it that like that before. People, bro, you got that same Louis Vuitton belt on, nigga. Get the fuck out of
bro,
here, like.
that's what come on, dog. Like, and I'm not hating on you for it, bro. You rock that shit all you want. But what I'm saying is, like, you just spent $2,700 on a belt. Like, I went to
Yeah.
American Eagle and spent $12 on a belt,
Right.
bro. And it's doing
And
the
it be
same
the
thing,
same.
holding my
It's the
pants up.
same function. It's the same thing, and like I dig like quality. I dig quality, and
Oh, I love the quality.
some people want like a quality, like they appreciate the quality. But and my thing is, if you want to go buy some expensive shit, you know, more power to you. But you gotta act your wage. You gotta do that
Facts.
shit when you can afford
Facts.
to do it and
Facts.
really
That's what I'm saying.
appreciate it. Don't just go buy something because everybody told you that this is cool. So now you're gonna go empty out your savings
Facts.
to get a
Facts.
bag.
Facts.
If you busted your ass and you're like, man, I got some spending money, I'm gonna do something because I want to do it, go ahead and do it. But know why you're doing it. Don't just go push out money because you're trying to fill a void or you're trying to be,
Right.
show people that that you're worth something. Because at the end of the day, what you're worth is inside of you. That's what I
Right.
think
It's
the most
right.
beautiful thing is.
Right.
Like, as I'm growing and evolving as a person, I still slip up. I still do coon shit. I still go, I still go do stupid shit. But like, you might catch me in a fucking rental or something like that. You know what I
Bro,
mean?
that's
But
cool. Like a rental is cool, you know what I'm saying? Especially like people like us renting a car is okay.
right,
But don't be one of those rappers that's flaunting your money around or one of those people that's flaunting your money around and you renting his car.
right,
That's not okay.
right. That
Cause
ain't
like
it.
all that money, like I be seeing people like with like 50, $60,000 in their hand, like trying to show that shit off. That's cool, bro. But why don't you go put that down on the house?
Right.
You about to go to Icebox right now.
Yup. Yup. And you know what exposed a lot of these rappers was COVID, because a lot of these rappers was out this bitch living paycheck to paycheck. It might have been
Mhm.
$100,000 paycheck, but they was
Hey,
living
listen,
paycheck to paycheck,
when you got
show
a
to show.
lifestyle, when you got a lifestyle to keep up with, you know, it's a lot when you got this lifestyle to keep up with, and all of a sudden you're not making the money as steadily as it
Yup,
was before. Something happens, you know.
yup,
That's like that happened to players in the NBA. You know what I'm
yup,
saying? It's been players in the NBA that uh one point in time making $7-8 million and living a $4 or $5 million lifestyle.
yup.
Then 4 or 5 years later, they making $2 million and they don't know what to do.
And they
And now they out
screwed
the league.
because they
Mm-hmm.
got debts, they got all this stuff. And I think we need to teach more financial literacy, but also
We
I
do.
think it needs to be a cultural shift of like, your value comes from inside of you. It don't come from the things that you own. I don't know if you know Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker. He like
Nah.
I'm sure you probably seen his videos. He's the one who talk about when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you're going to be successful. It's an old head.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I've heard.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old black dude, and he was saying on this video that I was watching of him, he was like, "Man, I'm out here, making $1 million contracts, speaking, to motivational speakers, to athletes, to things like that." He was like, "Bro, I might go make $100,000, and I still live next to teachers. My house is still a house next to lawyers. My house is still a house next to, a chef, or just a regular, a plumber." He was like,
Right.
"Bro, I don't need to go live in Hollywood Hills somewhere. Why would I do
Right.
that? I'm comfortable and confident with what I have now. So
Right.
the money that I make, I can invest that to future generations. I can invest that in my children and my grandchildren." So
That's a
I think
fact.
it's just like a shift. You know what I mean?
That's a big fact. That's a big fact. You're right. Financial literacy does need to be taught, like from like high school, like beginning of high school, um, because it's so much stuff people don't tell you. It's so much stuff people don't tell you. Like, uh, oh man, I can't remember who I was talking to, but we were just talking about like the differences between white people and black people as far as financial literacy goes. And the point that was brought up to me was, you know, we get a credit. I think it came up because I was telling him that like I had a credit card in college and like I was just using that shit for anything, bro. I was like, oh, I got a credit card,
Right.
swipe, and I wasn't paying it off like how I should have been paying it off. And he was like, while it's white kids whose parents open a line of credit for them at like the age
Yup.
of 4 or 5,
And just
they
start
make
paying that
like
shit off.
everything, like they pay that
Yup.
shit off all the time, and then by the time they turn 17, 18 years old, they got an 800 credit score already,
Yup.
like
Real
with
shit.
5, 6 payments on it.
Real shit. And it's that extreme wealth gap. And being somebody who's biracial, who grew up in white family and black family, really showed me like it's crazy. Because when I talk to my brothers who didn't grow up, my brothers and sisters who didn't grow up biracial, didn't, you know what I mean? Because my dad, he got 13 kids. He got
Oh
kids.
damn, yeah,
My dad got kids all around the rainbow.
yeah,
but
damn.
like, it's just shit that I learned growing up around white people that
Mm-hmm.
they didn't learn not growing up around white people. Is really fucking wild. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even like tax codes. Like, my
Right.
family taught me, like, growing up, oh, listen, if you have a business, even if you don't, consider yourself a business owner, start a business, take all your expenses, gas, rent, your mortgage, file that under your business, and you don't have to pay taxes on any of that money that you made versus that. I just grew up knowing that shit. I talked to my
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend's mom a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "Yo, where did you learn that shit at? Nobody ever taught me that."
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
shit. It's shit that
Yo.
gets instilled in the white community, because the white community has the wealth. They the ones who are worried about the wealth. You know what I mean? And have that generational shit to give back. So it's like, I almost feel like an ambassador sometimes. Like, man, I gotta I gotta take what I
Yeah,
learned over here growing up
yeah,
how
bro,
I
for
grew
real
up
though.
and bring that shit back to my community.
For real though. And I know it's hard because a lot of like young kids don't be trying to hear that shit, bro. A lot of young kids don't be trying to hear that shit and it's sad. But when they hit like 40, 45 and they doing the same shit every day, if they even make it to that, God
Right,
willing. Um,
right,
they it's a lot, bro. Kids don't be trying to hear that shit. I remember I was in a program like every summer. It was a basketball program, but like we would play games every day, Monday through Friday. But when we wasn't playing games, we was like they would give us classes. So we would have like a life
mm,
skills class or a math
mm,
class, and kids didn't like that shit at all.
right,
They just wanted to play and they wanted to go. Me, I didn't mind it because like we were when we had life skills classes, we were having people come in who they could have been something so much more had it not been for the streets or for
right,
drugs. Uh, and people don't really give those kind of people the time of day. But
right,
like they made a change. They were willing to admit that they fucked up somewhere in their
right,
life. And here they are in front of a bunch of 13, 14, 15-year-old kids trying to explain and try to explain what they did wrong. And they see that shit in half of the kids in that room.
right,
And that has to be a feeling. I don't know what that feeling is like to look in a room full of people and you just see yourself
right,
uh, and you knowing that you made the wrong decision, you trying to tell people that you made the wrong decision, and they still not gonna care.
right. It's sad because it's so much. It's because for every one person that changes their life, it's 15 other people that like make that shit look like it was cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got family
Mm-hmm.
that did like 12 years and they gonna let you know in every conversation, yeah, nigga, I
Right,
did
right.
12 years.
Yeah.
Like, bro, stop promoting that shit. Stop making that shit cool, man.
Right,
Stop
right,
making that
right,
shit cool. Like one of my
right.
favorite podcasters is Wallow. I don't know if you know Wallow
Yeah, yeah.
247
I be
from
watching
Philly.
$1 million worth of game all the
Yeah,
time.
but he'll tell you every time he tells a story about prison, he's like, bro, before I tell this story, I'm just letting you kids know prison is not fucking cool. You do not want to go there. You
Yeah,
do not want
Wallow
to
be
spend
talking
time
that.
in prison. Like he constantly saying that because in the community, it's almost looked at as like a cool thing. Oh, I'm gonna go do
That's
this.
a shame, bro. You're right though. You're right. Like, and then that's jails is overpopulated, you know, and that's a whole different story. But you're so right, bro. You know what I'm saying? People just they people get this image of all of their rappers going to jail or all of these rappers going to jail or prison, and they be like, oh, that must be a cool thing to do,
Right.
not
Like
knowing.
thinking that it's cool.
Right. Like not even knowing that like some of these rappers or some of these celebrities, they get sent to jails like minimum security prisons. Like
Right. Right.
you- they
They in
they
a cakewalk jail.
they playing fucking tennis
Right.
outside while
Right.
you
They in
you
one of
know
those federal joints that you can
right,
chill. They got the TV, like the lunch, everything is cool.
right,
Everything is cool. That's the people who get money prison. It's a
right,
difference between
right.
people who get money prison and going upstate.
Okay.
Yup.
Okay. Rikers Island and type
Right.
shit.
Real shit.
Yeah,
Yup.
bro.
Yup.
I don't understand why it's so glorified like that, but
Yeah. But that's what's up, man, that you had that opportunity as a kid. I feel like just as black men, we gotta get out of thinking about ourselves so much and think about what are we gonna instill in the next generation, because like that dude who stood up and spoke and was like, man, y'all don't want to go down this road. It might be 99% of the kids that are like, man, fuck all that shit. But for that
bro,
1%, that could change their entire life. If we don't put ourselves in that position to speak to the next generation, they might never hear it.
that's a fact. And
So,
that's that's so true, man. Because I sit there and I just like I say to myself sometimes, like I say things and then I just feel like no one's listening. But like if it's just one person that listens,
yeah.
If it's
Yeah,
just one person,
yep,
you've changed the world in a sense,
yep.
because
And
that's all
change
it
one,
takes.
you changed that person's world.
Right,
That person's
right.
whole world might have changed. That's why, like, man, I really feel like when you use your voice for some positive shit, it don't matter. Like you said, if you reach one person, that's how positive change get made. It's sometimes I feel like I was just on the clubhouse John last night. Me and my homegirl was doing like just like a community talk. And it was
Mm.
like all the problems that we face in the black community. Sometimes it feels like it's so big that it's like, man, how the hell are we ever going to chip away at
Yo,
this
it's
thing? It's
that's
overwhelming.
really how it feels. That's it's so. Oh, you're so right. That's the best word to use. Overwhelming, man, because it's a lot, bro. It's so many. It's not even like a generational curse. It's more so like uh it's been like instilled. And granted, we do have choices to make as humans, but the choices do get a little harder and clouded given circumstances. Uh, you know,
Right, definitely.
we we uh we were like redlined. I could go on and on about
Yeah.
like the
Redlining,
mistreatment,
gentrification.
right?
Right,
All of that shit plays a factor into the way the economy is for Black people now, the
right.
way people look at Black people now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about wealth. I think a lot of people look at income and they don't look at wealth. What's the wealth? When we were slaves in America, we had half of a percent of the wealth. In 2020, we have half of a percent of the wealth. We got a lot of
Crazy.
money as Black America, but how many people do you know that make 60, $70,000 a year and they in debt?
That's
Because
right.
we negative on our wealth.
Wow.
We
Wow.
can't get mortgages. We don't get mortgages in the black community. You know what I mean? We don't get
Yeah, we stuck renting.
right equal education opportunities. You mess around and mess your credit score up, you fuck for however long until you get it back.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, bro.
the lack of opportunity is astounding, but I just think at the end of the day, we got to pool our resources. We got to get our priorities straight, and we got to make those opportunities because we the builders of civilization, mathematics, science,
Facts.
exploration. That's all us. If you believe that you was just a monkey swinging around in the jungle in Africa, then you might look at yourself and be like, I ain't shit. But if you educate yourself and you like, man, everything that the European knew, we taught him when they was, running around in the caves of Europe, we was building pyramids. You know what I mean? We was exploring the
Facts.
world. We was teaching the world everything. Socrates, all those guys that was Greek,
Facts. Facts.
people, they learned their shit in Africa and took it back to Europe. They got their education from us. So I think it's about
Yeah.
education too. When you teach somebody that, when you teach the kids that growing up, man, I'm from a line of royalty. Now it's like, man, I don't need that Benz. I don't need that Louis bag. I don't need to be flexing money because I'm the gold. You know what I mean? I'm the treasure. What's right
Facts.
here is the
Facts.
treasure. So,
Facts.
mhm,
Facts. That's yeah. Definitely got to instill that in at an early age,
yeah,
bro. Definitely got to instill that at an early age. A lot of people don't, man, and it shows. It really shows. It really shows. Like my parents didn't raise me to where I won't say to see us as kings, but they raised me on my history so I could
right,
see it for myself.
right,
I've uh I've done the studies of the Marcus Garveys, the Medgar
right,
Evers, the
right,
you know the those guys of the world.
right,
So seeing those besides the Rosa Parkses and the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, given me to see someone else besides those three that were so
right,
pushed in school,
right,
it was like an eye opener. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And it kind
Yeah,
of like it kind of gave me a sense of confidence in myself, just knowing that the black culture goes so deep, just
right,
knowing that it could be even like a slither of hope for black people just by knowing what their history is like.
right.
Like I feel like white people just always go over their history. Like
Yeah,
not even so much like George Washington type shit. I'm just saying like uh white families within their families.
right.
They
Yeah.
keep their history. They talk
Keep
their
their
history.
historical records. Yep. Like on my white side, my family would tell you, yeah, your grandfather, he did this. He worked at
Right.
this company. He bought stock in this. Like I remember I was driving one time with my grandmom on my mother's side, on the white side, and she said, "Oh, you know the people that built that steel factory?" She was like, "Yeah, your grandfather, he bought a whole bunch of stock in that steel, and when he died, I got a check for that." And straight up, let
Wow.
me know. It's like, wow, to
Wow.
really have that. So now I try and, a lot of our history was cut off as far as our bloodline traveling back to the motherland, but I really try and at least learn about the culture, you know what I mean? And even if it doesn't go back to Africa, the culture of what we did in America, because we
Right.
don't get taught, like you said, we get taught Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman. It's like the big three of
Right.
a couple, and then even like with Martin Luther King, that's a whitewashed history of Martin Luther King that we get
Yeah.
taught. When you
Yeah.
dig really deep into him, you realize, towards the end of his life, he wasn't so nonviolent. He wasn't so, oh, let's just integrate. That wasn't his deal at the end of his life. At the end of his life,
Right.
he said, we need our own. We need to get our own money. Y'all need to pay us for what we did. So I think it's just about that education. For real,
Bro,
for real.
it kills. It blows my mind about the amount of people that don't know about Black Wall Street.
Yeah, people
I've
don't.
I've
It's wild.
I've forgotten so much about Black Wall Street more than like a lot of these people know. And
Right,
that's like, and I'm not even trying to sound cocky about that, but that same that same that same person that I was telling you about earlier, the guy who was in prison, he was telling us about this.
right,
Like I've known since like 13, 14. I was like, bro, what?
right.
We had our
Planes,
own shit,
cities, hospitals,
bus routes,
everything,
but bro,
everything.
everything. A fully functional working city, completely Black owned. That
Yeah.
shit is surreal.
And the
Like,
wild thing is why it was so hated by the whites, because it really just showed them, like, if you let
we could
us
do it.
to or by ourselves, we gonna take this shit over. We gonna turn up.
Right,
Like they was
right,
living in poverty.
right.
They was living in poverty when we was over here balling out, because we were trading outside of the community, but circulating all the money inside of our
Right.
community. So it
Exactly.
was all coming in, but nothing was going out.
Exactly.
And we was just stacking up. And I think, it's intentional that we don't learn about that in church, in school. It's intentional that
Yeah,
we
that's
don't learn
crazy to
about
me
that,
though.
because if they taught us, you know, your oppressor is never going to teach you something
Facts.
that's going to
Facts.
stop you from being oppressed. You know what I mean? They're not going to teach you that, hey, by the way, you read about King Arthur and all these barbarians running around stabbing each other.
Yo,
When this was going on, your ancestors were building pyramids and, had indoor plumbing and all that. Like, they're not
I'm
going to teach you that we was
yo.
more advanced than them. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Fucking yo, yeah, you're so right, bro. I definitely do remember learning about it might not have been King Arthur, but it was like King Leonidas.
Right.
I don't need to know. He did
Right. What the
nothing.
hell is
Like
you teaching me about that
he
for?
didn't contribute to American history. Like,
Right.
why
Right.
do I need to know about this man?
Yup. It's
Like,
crazy. But they won't teach you like Menelik, King Menelik II, Ethiopia, only person and
right.
only country to never be colonized by the European. Italy thought they
Wow.
was going to come in. Italy thought they was going to march right in and just take Ethiopia over. And he said, bitch, nah. He shut that
Wow.
shit
Yeah.
right down because he was smarter. Militaristically, he was smarter. They thought they was going to come in. Oh, these Africans, they just, they primitive. He shut that shit all the way down. Bitch, get out of my
Oh,
country. He shut that shit all the way down. But they would never
yo,
teach you that.
they won't know because that's a Black man being strong, man.
Yup.
It's a Black man
Yup.
being strong.
So, but yeah, man, thank you for your time. I
Bro, thank
appreciate
you
it,
for
man.
having me.
It's a good
Thank you.
vibe, man. It's a good
Yes,
vibe. We
sir.
definitely got to stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Yo, we definitely do. And next time I go back down Jersey, I'm gonna definitely hit you because we got a
Yeah.
link.
Link me,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
For sure, for
Yo,
sure.
for sure.